Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Court's now in progress.
JWC County Commissioners Court for January 19th, 2024, 9 a.m. now in session. Agenda item number 3, public testimony. Is there anybody in the public or anybody that would like to address the court at this time? I don't think we have anybody up there. Okay, agenda item number 4, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize a design build RFQ solicitation for courthouse renovation services for the Texas Historical Commission grant. I'm going to go ahead and read both of them so we can discuss them both freely if needed. Agenda item number 5, discuss, consider, and take action to rescind the authorization issuing a request for proposals for condition assessment and master planning services related to the rehabilitation of existing JWC County Courthouse. Okay, so a couple of meetings ago, we approved agenda item number 5 to go out for RFPs, really RFQs, for condition assessment and master planning, all with the inclination that we're going to apply for the Historical Commission grant for courthouse preservation. Now, in reviewing it a little more, we started discussing the option of a design build and going out for bid, possibly using our TIPS buy board program to solicit RFQs for the design build. And a design build is more like working with one master contractor per se, and they do the engineering, they do the construction, they do it all from A to Z. Other than the way we started doing the process, which we have the architect, and then we have to go out for bid for engineering, and then construction, and then everything else. The design build.
Excuse me, just what's the other system called? Not design build, but traditional, just
Traditional.
Yeah, just
traditional build.
Where you have
You go out for everything.
architects and or engineers are at the initial phase, and once they complete their job, they turn that over to a contractor. And of course, the contractor will hire subcontractors. And they will follow the plans that were designed by an independent architect or engineer. Under this system, the same company does both.
Yeah.
Does both, and then when it comes to construction, they do the bidding, they do the hiring for construction. You know what I mean? So the bidding process would be from the beginning, like I mentioned a while ago, through the TIPS. We'll probably enter our scope of work through the TIPS, and they have several vendors that do. I know of probably at least 6 or 7 who do the design build, and we'll send it to them, those particular vendors. The ones who want to submit a bid will submit the bid. We'll review the bid like we always do, and follow our processes to hire these design build contractors, and then we'll follow the process. In that process, what's included is the master planning condition assessment and the master planning related to the rehabilitation of the courthouse, like we want. That, as mentioned before, that has to be done so we can apply. And the reason why, because this grant application is due in May. I think early May, May 9th, May 9th, May 13th, something like that. And Jim Wells County has an approved master plan on file with them. It just needs to be updated. So that's the first part of, is updating that, the condition assessment, updating the plan, and then we go into everything else that needs to be done. But at any point in time, with a design build, we can stop and we can opt out of the contract because we're not going to move forward. For example, this could happen in a manner that if we apply for the grant, we get the grant, but for some reason or another, we cannot meet the match money, then it stops there. So the job they've done from there, from the beginning to there, which would be the condition assessment and the master planning, we would be charged for that.
Judge,
Yes.
is the general fund gonna pay from the beginning? Is it general fund money?
Okay, so we're looking at general fund money to pay for the match. It could actually be different ways that we can pay it, you know, depending on how the court wants to make that match. And right now, it's a 30% match right now. So
Have any ideas to the amount?
we don't, and that's what this design build is going to find out for us, how much it would cost to replace the windows, the soffits, and do the what is it called when the ground shifts, the leveling and all that kind of stuff. That, working closely with the historical commission, you know, I'm thinking that with 2 or 3 million, probably 3, we can maybe do what we need to do on the outside of the courthouse. Right now, as day to day, as we go day to day here, you know, I venture to say that we waste a lot of energy because of the way our windows are, the shape of the windows are right now, the seals and all that kind of stuff. So in doing so, we would save there. But I think we would know by the spring, no, not spring, by fall, if we would get a grant or not. And we have one budget to go through before we can, you know, so this budget cycle, when we go through the budget process for next year's budget, we can see where we're gonna allocate the monies from.
And basically, that's one of those things that I want, so we can put it in the budget, it's gonna be for the following year. I don't think we put anything in this budget.
Yeah.
But, and so we're just talking about the outside, Judge?
Yes, I know that the Tanya Salgado from Historical Commission, she wants us to do the whole courthouse, the inside included. But the growth of our departments and offices in the courthouse has caused us to build offices here, erect walls here, erect walls there, and that's a big no-no with the Historical Commission. So if they came and did the assessment and took us back to, I think it was gonna be 1948, those walls will have to be removed. So that being said, we won't be able to do that and be able to sustain any type of anything here in the courthouse as far as our current layout of each department. So, of course, with this court's approval, it'll only be the outside that we need, and we desperately need it. So, but that being said, going back to the design build, we're here today to either continue the path we're going now, or rescind that and go out for solicitations for the design build utilizing the TIPS process.
Judge, I understand that the windows are, is a huge issue. But if we're gonna go to a historical committee but on the outside, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody can. I don't think we have a lot of issues on the outside other than the windows. If there's any historical issues that would come to play would be inside. And of course, that we've made a lot of changes in here that's, that to me, it's gonna be just money that we just threw away by making those changes. But other than the windows, and we already just did the roof, and I can't see what, $2-3 million, $4 million, whatever. I know it's gonna get up there because it's grant, but versus us looking into just what it would cost us to get the windows done, would that be a better route, a considered route?
Well, I think that that it's going to be costly either way, because at some point we have to make a decision whether we're going to follow the historical commission standards for future benefits, because it's a very difficult process. It's hard to get that grant, but there's no way, shape, form, or fashion with our budgets the way it is that we could address that using our general fund money. We're talking about at least $2.5 million probably, I would figure. The windows is priority, of course, but there's also has been ground shift, and if you go to the front, you see all the cracks on the concrete. That's if we don't address that now, it's only going to get worse. And it's like I told Ms. Tanya, because we do have to go through a scoring system with the historical commission, and with a lot of the upgrades that we've done here at the courthouse, with the inclination that we would have never be able to apply for one because our wings were not deemed historical. So the changes that we made were not blessed by the historical commission. Finding out now that those wings are historical and we could apply for it, well, that kind of changed the game a little bit. So, but to your question, I think there's a little bit more than just the windows and the ground. What's the term I'm looking for? And the foundation issues. And she brought that up with her assessment, and we had another group come and give us a little assessment, and they found that to be an issue also. And it's like I told her, I said, if we don't, us paying for it would be very, very difficult and might be out of the question, maybe. But without getting help from them, our courthouse is only going to get worse, and we're going to ask in 10, 15 years, 20 years from now to help us build a whole new courthouse, which is going to put a big burden on our, per se, could be a big burden on our taxpayers, so I think that we need to try to start addressing it now. And if it comes out to where we feel like we couldn't afford it, or there's issues with doing it now, then at least we brought it to court and we discussed it in open court, and we made a logical and sensible decision on the courthouse.
If they come in, Judge, and we decide that we can't afford it, is there any cost with all these people that are
So there'll be a
doing the
cost.
assessments? Will there be any cost?
There's going to be a cost to do the assessment and the master plan. But if we don't do it this year, that doesn't mean that we can't do it next year or the following year, depending on our budget. So we need that. We're gonna need that either way. So what would come out of our pocket would be the assessment and the upgrade, the upgrading of the master plan. Yeah. And I think that anywhere from 60 to 80,000 it's gonna cost for the master plan. So that being presented, Mr. Moreno, is there anything else on the design build that I missed? That,
Yeah, I can speak to design build, so
can you state your name for the court,
my
please?
name is Jorge Moreno, I'm here representing McKinstry and kind of.
Over here, sir.
process. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, everyone. My name is Jorge Moreno. I'm here with McKinstry. We've been doing a lot of design build work with especially counties. That's where I really love working with. So design build really helps streamline the process from, root to fruit in terms of if you have a project where you want to engineer it, architecture, anything, and then also install it. That's the design build process. It's a one procurement process with two contracts: the design and then the installation of the work. In other alternative procurement methods, you might hire an architect or an engineer, and then you need to go out for other bids to do the actual install. And I think the counties we work with, they just love the design build because there's only one accountable party that oversees the entire process. So it helps streamline the process and kind of reduces the time to do it because of the fact that, okay, you have one accountable, like we'll do everything. So you don't have to stop and then hand it over to somebody else who has to learn what has been done. And again, I mean, everybody we've worked with loves this process. It's called the one throat to choke approach, where anything goes wrong, like you're working towards an outcome, a result. And if you don't achieve that result, then you know who to point to. Whereas in other processes, you might have several organizations working on your project, and then if something goes wrong and it's not done right, you might have some issues trying to figure out who's accountable. And we do work with the THC a lot. I know the deadline is May 13th, and they require the condition assessment to be updated and the budget to be updated you already qualify because you have an original master plan, but it needs to be updated for you to be able to apply this year. In terms of what it can fund, I think it's HVAC, not just replacing HVAC, but maybe if you decide to put them on the roof, if the roof's already brand new, or replaced, restored, roof, windows, doors, cracks, foundation, electrical possibly, if it's critical, HVAC, and a few more. So I think the master planning condition assessment would be to figure out what the needs are and what you want to apply for and get the new budget for that. Does that help?
So how much money is available?
Okay, there's $40 million, of which the maximum any county can apply is 10 million. So you would be under that if you're thinking 2 to 3 million. I know talking to THC, they do have a grading system. I think what would help Jim Wells County is that her words, she likes you all very much, but also like your lower tax revenues would be a plus for you in terms, because it is a competitive approach. Like you qualify to apply, but it remains competitive. But as Judge Trevino was saying, if you do the master plan update, you can use it next time. So it wouldn't be lost if they decide this year that you wouldn't get any funds.
Yeah, and the possibility is really good because a lot of the counties don't have the matching funds, And I think that on our part, we can figure it out. We can figure out how we can get the matching funds and,
So maybe right there in the perfect ideal middle, because some counties that have enough money, they don't get the points because they're more wealthy. And then others might not have the match, where you might just land in the middle. That will give you more
and I can
points.
tell you, the conversations with Tanya go all the way back to where I was judge the first time, and then the year before I became judge, and then now that I am judge, and again, and the conversations have been more serious because they want us to preserve our courthouses, but there's a lot of red tape. It's difficult, and when we had the serious conversation, and what I mean by serious conversation is you know, you get very frustrated, and Tanya assured me that, hey, that like Mr. Jorge said, that she appreciates us, she likes us, and that she's gonna fight the battle for us, because it's not an easy thing to accomplish. But she is on our side, and she helps us tremendously. And she, of course, she feels like applying this round would be a good idea for us. And there's a little time constraints, because we gotta do this by May, but I feel like if we can solidify a design build, the process will go a little faster and go a little smoother. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. So does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Jorge, or Mr. Moreno?
There's a public meeting in Austin also around this topic, where they invite you to go to the Capitol, Judge Trevino, commissioners, to kind of pledge your case before they make a decision. And that was shared to us via THC. So that would also, I would recommend that if you decide to apply this year. And there's an orientation, I believe, around April.
And the company, if we go design build and we make that decision today, that company that is chosen would work very closely with Humberto Garza, our grant writer, to complete this grant that's due in May. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so I'm gonna go back to agenda item number 4, and I'll make the word I'm looking for? Motion. I'll make the motion to take action and authorize a design build RFQ solicitation for courthouse renovations for the Texas Historical Commission grant program. I'll make a motion that we move forward in authorizing the solicitation of the design build RFQ.
So you're making a motion to go design build, but we're gonna go out for bids on
Yes.
who designs it and who builds
Yeah,
it?
and the way we're gonna do that, Commissioners, is we're gonna upload our scope of work into the TIPS portal. I know there's about 6 or 7 at least, design build companies out there. We'll send the request for RFQ to them, to every one of them, and each one of them will have the opportunity to put in for or to respond to the solicitation.
Can we get some more information from the court, commissioners, on a design build? Like, you know, I don't really feel so comfortable with the design build. I don't know what everybody else stands at, but I like to get it opened up for people to go out there. Who are we gonna go hold accountable for making sure that everything's getting done right on our behalf? who's gonna represent us?
Well, see, that goes back to earlier when we were working on the budget and,
You're giving, I'm just feeling like you're giving everything to one person, and that company there has got full control of what's gonna happen. How do we know that everything's getting done, that it's supposed to get done?
we have control of everything that's gonna happen. And we don't
I'm
have,
talking about when it's getting built.
yeah, we don't have a project manager. So, that may fall into my hands. I don't know.
With all due respect, Judge, I believe it falls under you.
Yeah, no, I know.
So,
It
yeah.
does. It does.
Right.
And that's why last budget, I was gonna ask for a position for a project manager because that does fall under me. And,
No, I meant under your direction, under you.
Oh, yes.
You're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
Just like we do our projects and our road constructions. I feel that you should be the one that oversees that.
And I have no problem with doing it. I have no problem with doing it. But, just like you have a foreman, I needed a project manager also. But I have no problem doing it because it's gonna fall on my lap, no matter what, because we have nobody to push this on, nobody.
And I'm just questioning, and everybody's got a vote here, everybody's got an opinion, so, whoever reflects the way they feel, it's up to them.
So, to that point, whether we go to design build or we go the way we were going, it's gonna fall on my lap anyway, either way. So, I think it's better that we have, if there's a problem, which I don't anticipate, but if there's problems, there's one throat to choke and not three or four. So, that makes a project manager's job, which is gonna be me, easier. And, that being said, I would recommend that, and that's why I'm making the motion.
And there's gonna be like 6, 7, they're gonna get,
Oh, yeah, they're gonna have the opportunity. Now, the reason why we're going through tips is because we don't have a lot of companies around this area that do design build. So, when we put in tips, the company may not be out of Corpus Christi or out of Alice or out of Alice for sure. Now, when it comes to the construction of it, we're gonna try to keep everything in Jim Wells County. You know what I mean? That whoever the design build.
But how do you assure that when we don't have, the design build people are gonna design it and build it? How do we assure
Well, the
our
design.
local
the-
taxpayers that
the-
we can get
the-
some people
the
involved in it?
The design, the company that's gonna design it and is gonna build it need contractors. And we can make that one of the priorities when we interview them and say, hey, we wanna make sure that we're gonna get our people to do the work. And when I became judge, I assured people that we wanna keep the business in Jim Wells County as much as we can. And, we're gonna, as much as we can, follow that protocol. Because I want all of our construction people here to make it. I want them to have the opportunity to do this. Now, to do the whole design build, we don't have too many companies that can do that. If we do get them from around here, that's great. And the first thing I'm gonna look at is when we put it on tips is the closest people. We really want the closest design build companies to Jim Wells County to get this, But to answer your question, we can make it a point that they're going to hire the contractors from here.
Judge, one of the main things I was here is for the procurement, and that's why I wanted for it to be explained on. I want to make sure it gets done to tips, that there's several companies that can apply for it, that everything is done correctly. I'm glad that you're saying local people will get, like some of the local employees in here working for them, and I just want to make sure that it's done properly.
So let me explain the tips process. So in our procurement plan, once we get the bidders, then we go to our committee, and the committee follows our procurement plan. Okay, so in order to get those those bidders to our committee, we're gonna put the scope of work, we're gonna start input it into the TIPS program. We're gonna invite as many as we can to bid for it. Once we get those bids, then those bids are gonna go to the scoring committee. And the scoring committee is gonna score them and provide us, like we usually do, follow our process, like we usually do. Okay?
I'll second the motion, Judge.
So I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Sign. Just
Motion
because I spoke
carries.
against it, so I'm gonna vote against it.
Okay, so it's, motion passes 3-1. Can I enter, okay, agenda item number 5, discuss, consider, and take action to rescind the authorization issuing a request for proposals for a condition assessment and master planning services related to the rehabilitation of the existing and Jim Wells County Courthouse, existing Jim Wells County Courthouse. I make a motion that we rescind that.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I entertain a motion for number 6?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a
Second.
motion and I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.